So we can see very quickly in this question that the key word here is probability. So we know we're dealing with answers as fractions, decimals or percentages, and we're thinking that all probabilities for a situation add up to 1. So we identify the trigger words, and the trigger word here is probability. We start thinking, what do we know about probability, so that we can start thinking about, well, how are we going to use the information in the question to get the answer they want. So it's talking about a bag containing red, yellow and blue discs, and the probability of drawing a red disc at random is 1/2. Drawing a yellow disc is x, drawing a blue disc is 4x, one disc is to be selected at random. So we're talking about just one disc here being pulled out. Work out the probability that it will be a blue disc if your answer is a numerical. Right. So in other words, they want us to work out what the fraction, decimal or percentage actually is for the blue disc. Well, the key idea here is that all probabilities, when we know it, at every outcome possible for a situation. So all probabilities for all outcomes must add up to 1. The 100%, if you know everything about a situation, the probabilities must add up to 1. So we can write the information we've got as a little equation. So they told us the red disc was 1/2. They told us the yellow disc was x, and they told us the probability of getting the blue disc was 4x. So these are the individual probabilities, and the rule says that they must add up to 1. They're all mutually exclusive. You can't get a red disc and a yellow disc at the same time, so the rule of mutually exclusive probabilities says that they add up to 1. Little equation, simplify down. So we've got 1/2 plus 5x is equal to 1. So take away 1/2 from both sides. So 5x is going to be worth 1/2. And then we can see here that we want to know what x is. So we're going to divide by 5. Lots of ways of doing this. So we're doing 1/2 divided by 5. And we either remember that when we're dividing by fractions, we can treat it as a multiplication. So let's turn 5 into an actual fraction to make the multiplication easier. And then when we're multiplying, we take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which means that we flip it over technically. And so we end up doing 1/2 times 1/5, which is 1/10. So we found out that x is worth 1/10. Another way of doing that division is, if you're not sure of how to do that division, then turn 1/2 into something to do with 5, so that when you're sharing by 5 you can just turn it what it is. So if I've turned that into 5, I had to multiply by 5, so I have to multiply the denominator by 5 as well. So in essence we're doing 5/10 divided by 5. Well, 5 divided by 5 is 1, so we're talking about 1/10. So a couple of ways that you could have got a tenth for the x value. Either way, x is worth 1/10. Then we're going to realise that the question wanted the blue disc, so again we're reading through and identifying that key information. And so for the blue disc, it's worth 4x, so that's going to be 4 times 1/10, which is going to be 4/10. So that will be our final answer for this question. So again, just go through and make sure that we've used all the information. So we've recognised that, we've done that. The probability of drawing that, yeah, we've included that. The probability of doing that, yeah. One disc, so we've recognised we're choosing one disc at a time. So everything's mutually exclusive. Work out the probability that it will be a blue disc, yeah, we've dealt with that. And give your answer as a number, yeah, we've done that. So we've done all the bits of the information, and we've recognised what the key trigger said. It was about probabilities, and all outcomes must add up to 1. And write a little equation then, identify what the x value is by doing your division of fractions in whichever method you prefer, and then recognising the blue disc was 4x's, so 4 lots of 1/10, 4/10.